Fun. What is up, everybody? It is a Monday morning, and both Alex and I are struggling because, Alex, this is like the way I wanted to kick this off. So we call this so common, so rare. So common for people like us is that if we want to do something like this, it's early, it's before real work, and just try to squeeze something in. How you doing?
It's a Monday, my man. It's
Yeah.
a Monday. Dragging a little bit. Had a decent weekend, and so we're not as good as I'd like, but that certainly helps getting up on a Monday.
Hold on. So card threshold, what's good?
Just shy of the second threshold in global, and just shy of a card in Asia. So
Oh man,
disappointing. And a better captain pick would have gotten me both,
that's
like a
actually the worst.
better captain in each one. So
I I think I don't remember who I talked about this. Maybe it was even you. I thought that coming from a DFS background, obviously, or is it still background if it's what you pretty much are doing all the time, or is it just DFS environment?
it's the background when we're on
Okay.
Sorare.
All right, background. That evaluation of matchups would be good, right? So like the captain choice to be easy. I would say, like you said, my only like killer week ever where I got like 2 tier 1s. If I was better at captain choosing, it's like stars. And I just thought I would be better at it.
Yeah, same.
What was your captain choice? You guys, I'm assuming it's Asia. So there's a 50-50 shot. I've never heard of the guys.
Ryotaro Araki, the
Oh, no, I know that.
18-year-old from
Yeah.
Antlers. Yeah, and I don't know that the matchup was great, but none of my other matchups. Well, really, for Asia, it's either he or Edgar Silva for me for captain, because my other guys are good, but not like quite good enough.
Right.
My keeper, Nishikawa from Red Diamonds, had a really nice week. Yutaka Yoshida from Nagoya Grampus 8 had a great week. And then I went with Iraqi because he was coming off the brace. He generally scores higher anyway, and he put up like a 46. And I mean, like a 50, I think would have got me at least tier 3. So it is what it is.
You know what's one thing that's really interesting that I found, and maybe this is potentially why I've struggled with the captain choices. So the most consistent players, bar none, are center backs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a center back plus a clean sheet, normally it's like 55 minimum, as long as the guy is like half decent. So I've caught myself at like this crossroads of, all right, I could do the center back that I know is going to be 55, and then I get the plus 25 or whatever for captain, or is it plus 20? I don't even know. And, that's decent score. That's like 70 and 70, 72, something like that. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, or do I want to do captain, the goal or nothing guy?
Right. Exactly.
And, squeeze out the extra 10. And I really don't know the answer to that.
I've been going more for goals in Asia just because I need to place higher to get a card. Right. Whereas global, I captained Jacob Glesnes. I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced. Philly.
I know who it is.
Yeah. But I also have Kai Wagner, and he's been outperforming both center backs, I think.
Right.
I don't have Jack Elliott, but I know Elliott's good. And if I would have captained Wagner, I definitely would hit the second threshold. So that's like I've been going with the center back. I think I've captained Glesnes the last 3 times, and Wagner's outperformed him.
That's smart.
So I think I need to.
I think that's smart because you could do like what we both had. Like I've had in subsequent weeks where I have like pretty decent like fullback / whatever Fukumori is, center back, fullback hybrid.
Yeah.
And they just get these games where they lose possession. So I had Tismiskas, I don't even know how to say it correctly, from Liverpool 2 weeks ago versus Norwich, 3-0. So he gets the clean sheet and he gets under 35, despite having like 11 crosses and overall being a good, positive player. And then Fukumori had like 17 crosses. He's on set pieces as a center back, but he lost the ball like 37 times, and they actually Opta adjusted his score down more. Alex, he got 29, so he got 100 the week before and 29 last. So that was my tilt, and then I'll just share my one tilt, and then I want to talk about your comeback, and then for people that are still stuck around despite our blabbering, we're going to talk a little about limited. And I don't know if I'm going to sell you, Alex Hooper. I don't know if I'm going to sell you unlimited or not, but we'll just have a conversation and then get the hell out of here. But my Tilt City, all right. I listen. You don't know that I listen to Tilt City, but I know you always ask what sent you to Tilt City, Tom. So can you do it for me? Can you?
Oh yeah, what did take you to Tilt City this week?
New York weather.
Yeah, right.
My God. So I texted you on Saturday. Was it Saturday? I had no concept of time. My D3 team, which sucks and is my own set of mistakes with my 2 super rare guys that might not be that good. But my one that's really not good gets like 58. So you get the 20% bonus, which is great. Ramzalar just does whatever. He got like 40. So it's fine. And then Victor Vasquez, I just wasn't going to start, but then his match was so good. He doesn't start, but scores off the bench as my captain. Speaking of good captain choices, finally got it. Tim Melia, my goalkeeper for San Jose, they get a red card 20 minutes into the match. Still gets a shutout, like 78. I have 300 through 4 players. Sorry, not that good. Like, look down, 49th, end of the day, Saturday. Okay, maybe. I got Castellanos, who's like $1,000 fiat player, 0.325. Yeah. New York Red Bull is not good defensive. What happens? Rain delay. Okay. Rain delay. I can wait, Alex. Get little notifications because now I have set up the Red Bulls and NYCFC for alerts because I want to know. And by the way, Coronel, the Red Bulls goalie, is in my global D4 team that's sitting at 249 points. And so I lay down. It's like it says kickoff's at 10:52. I'm like, okay, cool. Wife's getting ready. I'll watch the first like 20 minutes before heading to bed. Notification, and I thought it was like spam, because I read it wrong. It was like it says games off due to sloppy field or something like that. And I read soapy field. I'm like, haha, some intern thinks that's funny Twitter. And then the other one comes, games postponed, dreams dashed, sent straight to Tilt City.
That's as tilting a situation as I can think of. That's bad.
Great. Wasn't great. This is terrible. And I don't know why us humans were like this, but I talked to Storm the next morning, just mentioned it to him. He had a lot of that. But then I didn't even think about this because I didn't play the slate, but he had told me he got wrecked in the DFS slate though too, because he had like 2 or 3 guys from that game. And I wasn't even thinking. And then so I just sat to myself, I'm like, all right, I need to stop tilting so much because if I would have had DFS action on that too, that would have really wrecked me. So
yeah,
New York weather, Alex. That's what sent me to Tilt City.
Wow.
Can we talk one anti-Tilt City for you? Can we talk about Tilt City FC's resurgence in terms of guys that were dead?
In terms of my 2 most expensive players being complete albatrosses, and now all of a sudden they're playing again.
They're back.
But they are back. Shun Takagi from Oita Trinita.
He did good.
He did. His price still isn't recovering a ton. I mean, he's almost at 0.7, which is way higher than he was. But
0.07, add a 0 there.
0.07, yeah. 0.07. Even I didn't pay 0.7 for him. So he's back, and Jamiro Montero back in the starting lineup for Philly. So my Philly stack is alive again. Now that I'm sure their schedule is nowhere near as good as what I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
I got Orlando.
Orlando's kind of struggling though. Nani, who knows what's going on with him?
Actually, no, they have United, DC United, and then they have the Revs, and then they have another L to take in the CONCACAF Champions League against
Oh,
Club
they got
America,
destroyed too.
and then
They're not ready for that league.
Orlando. But okay, so late September, early October, if I still have them. Atlanta, Red Bulls, Crew, Cincinnati, Montreal.
Cincinnati and Montreal. I mean, look, sometimes that's I kind of want to get into that at the end if we have time for limited, but I'll just give like a snippet. I kind of came to the realization, maybe we'll talk about it now, whatever. Kind of came to this realization yesterday. As I was sitting there, I was just checking like my gallery prices, and my Asia guys all went up pretty good, which is cool because I think I'm done with Asia. I just don't really get enjoyment out of it. I'm not watching the games. Half the time I wake up and the game's almost over. So it's not even like you get like a sweat. And I did well the first week, and now it's just been like I'm getting creamed. And it's like between the guys, it's almost like one ETH. And I'm like, that's money that could be better just sitting, or maybe doing players that I like. But then I was thinking about my crew stack. I don't know if you saw my tweet. I got a few reactions from the Sorare community. I tweeted out the results for the crew since I stacked them. And it's like 8 straight losses. Considering they were number 1 in the MLS before I bought the stack. And now they've lost like 7 or what's that?
You aren't kidding. I'm looking at it right now.
So I bought the stack. My first time deploying it was 1-0 at Atlanta, and I won like I think like a tier 3 card. I think it was like Dom Dwyer, and I'm like, okay, this works. And then it was just disaster. That is the problem with the stack, especially on lower budgets like us, is
right.
You feel compelled to play it even when it's not desired. So my question to you is, do you think, and it's still fun, I'm keeping the crew stack. They have Cincinnati this week, so I'm finally hopefully getting okay. Do you think at low budgets, do you think owning stacks makes sense?
It's tough because at a low budget to stack a team that's going to just completely go up. Like if I think my grandpa's stack might be 0.1, something like that, or not 0.1, sorry, like 0.4, 0.5. Like you can't really get like a frontale stack or anything like that at where but like what I can afford.
Right.
And a team like Grampus isn't going to blow the doors off of anyone generally, or they might just lose to Yokohama. So I'm starting to think it's not, but that might just be results based. If you can get, in a Philly too, like I got some good players from Philly for about 0.5, Montero being most of that, but they haven't really done anything, but he hasn't really played. So I don't know. It's results based to me. It seems like it's not worth it because I can't afford the guys who really put up consistently high scores to win me cards. But I don't know. I'm still willing to see it out. And if I could just win one card, all of a sudden my bankroll, whatever, just kind of changes a little bit. If it's a high card, obviously. But yeah, it might be easier to just piece together guys who are more consistent and just hope one goes off and get closer to the podium that way.
I think that after owning 2 different versions and winning 2 decent cards off of it, so I'm still like net positive off of both, even though Zellarion's like price in Columbus is, I do actually think he's a great buy, especially if they get Giovinco. I think that team changes around. But I won a tier 1 Champion America card, which was Hani Mukhtar, which is a very usable card, on a game that Columbus lost 2-4. So, right. But Zelarion had an assist to Mensa, and then Pedro Santos got a PK in the 93rd minute. So it took a lot to get there. So I loaned you Barco, and he scored 2 goals. So that would have been useful. But that guy, what a buy that ends up being right now. But But yeah, I think I'm still very much almost said the court is out. The decision's out on it. I'm not going anywhere on the Columbus stack. But yeah, I think that it's even more interesting. Like, I think that you have to accept variance, that it's not going to win you a card every week, and that probably in like a 5 weeks sample, you might only get one card,
Right.
which is kind of frustrating. But maybe that card's really good. It just stinks though. Like I just like sit there and like I'm like rolling out the stack, and I know the stack is going to get killed, and I know it's like not an optimal play. Like there was one that Columbus was playing at New York City, and I'm like, this is going to go terrible. And they lost 4-0. It went terrible. So, but you just don't, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? You feel like compelled to play it?
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely, I had a hard time like not just playing the full Grampus stack in Asia,
Yeah.
but with Iraqi and Silva now on my squad, like it to me, I was like, yeah, I'll put Grampus in Asia in case they go off, because again, they were playing teams like Yokohama, right?
In case.
And then I was playing Silva and Iraqi in D4, and like, yeah, they like can help push some of my lesser guys past the threshold, and I'm just churning. And it just kind of turned out neither was working. So I'm just trying to strike that balance right now. And again, like just short of a card and just short of the second threshold. Like that's not where I want to be. I would like to either be like at the second threshold or just win a card and then sell it for close to, the second threshold price. So I just, results wise, I'm just still trying to strike that balance.
Yep. And I think that that's where it ends, and that's small gallery life,
Yeah.
Even me, I don't know what a medium gallery is anymore. I'm pretty sure I feel like I was texting Martin, Duncan Disorderly on Sorare was texting me, and I'm like, I don't know how to manage expectations, because I feel like at this point I have enough in, like, I only started out less than 2 ETH, but now the gallery is worth like 4 or whatever. I feel like I should be winning cards more regularly than I am. So it's like a wholesale thought process sitting there. All right, we have a few minutes. I want to talk about limited. Have you bought Unlimited yet, Alex?
I haven't. I don't have any ETH available, and I haven't been selling because I'm waiting on, my guys, those Albatross guys to recover, and then I have a keeper for Asia who I might sell. So I haven't sold. I haven't had the money to do so, and I haven't really planned on it because I don't really see the utility for me. The fact that I have so many rares, it doesn't strike me as something that I need to do. I don't know why I would want to get more limited cards, but maybe I'm wrong. So I haven't had anyone sell me on why.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to speak, coming from, I won my first one overnight and I went, crap. Like, so here's it's Sebastian Blanco, who I have too many of, and I don't know why. He's not a very fun player right now, because nobody on Portland's fun, because you don't know who's starting. Like Valeri seems like he's dead. He just gets subbed in. Remember, like beginning of the season, Diego Valeri was like 0.2. Thank God I didn't buy him for that. But yeah. So here's the sell, Alex, of why limited could be fun. So the reason I got on Blanco is I was trying to set his price, and I was just like looking through what was on. And I don't know why I clicked on. This is why you always use So Rare Data, people, and you don't use So Rare to look at a price. I don't know why I was on So Rare, and I clicked on him. I go to lowest price, and I was looking for his rare, but right now everything that shows up is limited if you don't have the filters on. And there was an auction ending in 2.5 hours. Okay. And the current bid was 0.002. So no, I'm sorry. The current bid was 0.001, Alex. Okay. So I bid 0.002 just because I'm a sick person. And I saw a button that said bid, and I'm like, whatever, $6, that's coffee. And I won it for $6. I mean, Sebastian Blanco, to start the season, and at times it's been almost a 1.15 to zero point 0.2 ETH player. And I just bought his limited for 0.002, $6 in
I
this world.
mean,
So that's a potential where it could be fun to pick up guys,
now,
speculate for $5.
now that I'm seeing it, because I haven't been checking the prices.
They come down. You saw when it was number one serial numbers, and people were paying like the same price as a rare or 50% of a rare, and you're like, this is not okay.
Yeah, and I just noped out immediately. But let's see.
Yeah, just find a random guy. Who are you looking up? I'm curious.
I'm just looking at the current auctions. Andre Blake with 5 minutes left at 0.055.
Yeah, and that'll shoot up to like, I think most good goalkeepers are going for like 0.075 to 0.1, but like Vandervaart, he should be like the cover of Sorare, because like the true Sorare people, we will never be a true Sorare person, Alex. We will never be fully accepted in the community, because to be accepted as like a Sorare tout or a Sorare legend, you have to own a Vandervaart. I think it's like a regular passage, right?
Yes,
because
you're right.
Yeah. So, but he's like, his limited, they did that like power hour last night, and I think it was just an excuse for them to sell a shit ton of limiteds. And because I just kept on getting notifications of Martin Vandervaart sells for 0.112, 115, 124, 13, and those are all his limited price, because his rare price is like 1.
Did you see Camavinga go for $80,000 as unique?
Yeah, I actually thought that was a little bit less than I was somewhat expecting, to be honest with you. I thought he might hit 100,000 because he's currently linked to like every big club.
Right.
I don't know how he scores on the platform, but I just know people, and he's French, right? Isn't he French? I'm pretty sure.
I believe so.
Yeah. So, most of Sorare is in France. So I was the big guys are in France. So I thought he might get a little, they always say in like England, you get the like Ramsdale sold for 50 million because he's an English guy. Arsenal is the only team that gets screwed up by the English premium, right?
Yeah.
But I thought there might be like a French premium because so much of the platform is in France. But yeah. So I think Blake will be like 0.06, 0.07, something like that, which is not bad. So you could do your Philly stack. And I think Montero, it was funny. I was looking at, oh geez, Alex, Montero is now a Sorare user.
Like, hi.
Yeah. But like now,
that's what he's doing to pass his time when he can't see his parents.
You could buy a Jamiro Montero on the secondary market, which is a terrible idea. Always just bid on these because there's just too many auctions. But 0.017, so 50 something bucks, versus his rare card is, when he's playing, I think that his rare card is going to go up. That's what, like 0.2. So you're actually under the 10x multiplier. I don't know. I think it's interesting. So here, there's part of myself for you is that, and I think I heard Laird and Black on the RotoWire. I think did a really good job. I messaged them. I told them I was on a long drive, and I'm like, I actually truly enjoyed the episode. And he was like, there wasn't like, I don't think either one of them like that, like pumped to that. I just enjoyed the back and forth. That's what I've always intended this to be, just like not a ton of planning and just like talking. And I enjoy listening to that. And Laird said was interesting. I totally caught myself doing two things that he said that I thought I wouldn't have. One, looking at fiat price. I totally did that with Blanco because there's too many zeros. So it's like $5, whatever. Montero, I just told you, I didn't say 0.00175. I said, $50. So that's interesting because I've always done everything else in fiat and Ether. And then the second one is it actually opens things up where the guys that you probably would not be paying, or you would buy a Montero like you, and immediately if he started doing bad, it was a 0.25 type of buy. He does bad, and it was like wrecking you. Well, now if you only spent 0.0, you spent the equivalent of 50 or $60, it's not wrecking you.
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm looking at some of these prices,
now you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna do some buying.
I mean, Daisen Maeda from oh
Mhm.
geez, Asia, the
Yeah,
Asian kid. I mean, he's 23. He's going
Marinos.
for he's at 0.037
So what is that in fiat? See, I need
average.
this in fiat because it's like the extra
Yeah,
zeros are messing with me.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. But it'll
I
be
don't.
interesting because you could potentially, and I think it's all about scoring the goalkeeper, but you could potentially, do some fun stacks that you would be way priced out of. So here's where it'd be fun to do stacks, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense now that I'm looking
I
at
can
it.
see your face here is like eyes open. And
Yeah,
they look awesome too. Like Sora did an
they do.
awesome job. Like the
They do. It
yellow
looks
is
great.
really cool.
So what can you actually win in
Well,
D5?
more limiteds.
Okay,
And ETH on podiums, but you got to think like, and I'm
you
assuming
got to be
it'll just
perfect. That's like nuts, right?
right because they're not out, but Mbappe's and the top cards when they get out there are going to be more in reach for people.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it'll just be interesting. I think the first couple mints of like Mbappe and Messi and Neymar will be crazy, and then it will
Oh yeah.
soften a little bit. But I might be in the range for number 750 Mbappe. I don't know. I don't know where that'll be. Is that still going to be? What do you think? Because I think that easily his number one mint will go for probably 3 or 4 ETH,
Probably.
and
Yeah.
Messi probably even more because it'll be like the first Messi.
God, I forgot
Um,
about the Messi
oh yeah,
card
his
coming.
picture updated on Sorare, dude.
Oh really?
It's happening. It's happening. But you know what will be like run number 750? And I think that's the interesting thing. So are you a little more intrigued by limited?
I am.
Just
I
because the
am.
price, right?
Yes, I didn't expect prices to get this low this soon. I thought they would, like towards 750. And I don't know, let's see, we're run 17, 19,
You're
18,
not
16
that
for a lot of
far
these
in.
guys. Right. I mean, there's still so many to go.
I
So
think I think what will be interesting, and we might be getting close to a bottom. I think RotoWire mentioned this too. I can't remember, or maybe they didn't, but my only thought with it, and I'm curious your thought, is this was designed for new users to come in.
mhm.
So when new users do come in, do they actually drive the price up? Or do they just like pick their spots? You know,
Yeah, I mean, the price can't go much lower.
it could. Price can go very low. Price can be good as zero on
I
all
mean, but I'm seeing guys that are just like average
250.
selling for 0.002 and stuff like that. So I mean, but like if you're actually going to win something in D5, those guys are essentially worthless. So I
Right,
understand.
exactly.
Like you need good cards, I imagine, to like really compete.
Yeah,
So um
you could put together a whole team except for the goalie probably for 0.01. So the bottom threshold, and if you have rares, right? So we both are going to win 0.01 this week in global D4. We could theoretically, based on my Blanco picking up for 0.002, and that's technically a usable card, right? Especially if he ever
yeah.
starts starting again and his ACL is done. Like that's a guy, if you go to a Sorare data, here, I'll just do it for shits and giggles. Um, but if we go to his Sorare data, I know my guy. I was doing some. I told you I'm selling out of Asia.
I would, if I could afford him, I would take him off your hands very quickly.
For the low price of 0.22, he can be yours.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a
I
little
bought him
rich
for
for my blood.
0.11 like 2.5 weeks ago, so that's awesome. But like Sebastian Blanco, like the reason that I'm intrigued by Sebastian Blanco is the pre-ACL.
Mhm.
So that card as a limited can be yours for, look at that, like $10 on average.
I have that available right now.
So, and I'm not by any means saying that Sebastian Blanco should be the buy. It's just the point is like there are cards like that you could do for, $30 and have 4 guys. Now, if you can go, maybe get a deal, maybe you get a keeper for like 0.05. And now you have a full playable team for 0.06. And now how much can it compete? I don't know. they're going to be doing the regionals this next weekend. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it makes sense. I think there's a lot of people, like even in our Discord at FSI, that were priced out before, but now all of a sudden you tell them for less than $100 you could put together a team.
I might buy one or I might bid on one right now, actually.
Before this, I told you before we played it was like, we're gonna talk about limited. You're like, you have to sell me. I'm not doing it. Now you're like, I'm gonna bid live. Come on. So who are we looking at? I'm curious.
What do we think about Andy Nahar?
Who?
Andy Nahar, Washington defender.
I mean, that's like one of the ones that you probably should be getting dirt cheap because nobody knows who he is and there's too many options.
0.005.
So what is that? $15?
Something like that.
I mean, my thought at once you get down these low points is what's the difference between 0.005 and 0.003? I mean,
yeah, literally nothing to me.
Yeah, it's like a couple bucks. So
and he's got 2 DMPs.
I think the hardest part here, as I'm trying to get Alex to not fully just like spend his money before the day started. There's so many auctions that I do think that proper planning is needed, that you literally have to like chart out your team and know who you're going with before you just bid it up. And then you put like, again, I'm gonna keep going back to RotoWire. That's the only one I've heard on limited so far. But like Laird made the joke. He's like, he's gone crazy with the limited. And he's like, I don't even have the concept of the team right now. He's like, I always used to plan my team out and be careful with buys. And he's like, with limited, I just like see a guy and he's like, ooh, a jersey mint for Brendan Harrison. I like Brendan Harrison. Let me bid on him. And then go, oh, I don't know how he's going to fit into a team.
Right. Maybe I'll actually, the good thing right now is I don't have my phone on me, so I can't 2-factor authenticate my computer and actually put this bid in. So maybe I'll listen to Andrew and the Andrew.
It is talk. I mean, it's a good listen. So shout out to RotoWire. They do an awesome job, and
yeah,
I truly enjoy the listens as I'm driving. But yeah, no, I just think I do think that you have to be very careful. Like just like me with the Blanco last night, I'm literally going on like 0.002, $6. Hit bid, and this morning it says auction 1, and I actually was like, I don't know if I won that, but I think it's interesting. I think by next weekend I probably will put together a D5 team. Maybe I need to do another crew D5 stack. What do you think? Terrible idea.
Double down, baby.
Double down. I'm going to win if I'm going to win an award in America, I'm going to win another limited card too. Yeah,
that should be the goal, right?
Right. So
I know I'm gonna get bored at work, and I'm gonna place at least one bid on one of these guys now that I see these prices.
So here's the next thing I want to bring up, and then we'll probably get out of here. What do you think the liquidity of limited cards is?
I don't know. I barely know what liquidity means.
So if you
I know what it means, but I barely
buy Andy Nahar,
yeah,
for 0.005.
Yeah.
What do you think and let's say that this weekend he puts up an 85. He just kills it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you being able to sell that card for 0.005?
Yeah.
You think so?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I
would expect to be able to sell him for whatever his last auction price was.
But he has 6 more auctions coming in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, but I don't know that people buying limiteds care as much. I don't know that they don't.
I think that's the answer. We don't know. Because, you used to always be when you were selling rares, right? It was like, and you guys had a good performance. I was like, all right, I want to get that sale done before the next auction comes and another price discovery happens. Unless, of course, like the guy's coming off like Barco right now, right? He's like 77 or higher in like 5 straight. Like if I had an auction coming for him, I'm more excited than I am upset because I know that his recent performances are going to drive him up. I just wonder with limited, you just have so many of them. And I mean, they're going to start, I think they're coming like every 30 seconds right now in the auction space. And it might even get 1,000's a ton to go through, Alex. That's like 3 cards a day they have to go through to get to 1,000 mints. And of course they have to pull back for rewards and referrals and all that. So, who knows how many gets minted and put into the auction space, but it's a lot of cards that have to go through. And I just do worry that there's going to be liquidity issues in the secondary market, that anybody that you buy a limited card for, I think you have to plan to keep.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I might speculate and just try and find some guys for 0.002. So to your point, Nahar currently has
the Andy Nahar episode. That is what episode
Yes.
3 is going to be called. The one with Andy Nahar.
the one with Andy Nahar.
So Andy Nahar.
He has 6 limited cards on the market. The lowest price is 0.01, and he does not have a sale on the secondary market in limited, because why
His
would he?
scores are decent. He scores decent, if I remember. I think I've looked at his rare card before.
Last 5, he has 60, playing 60%. He has 2 DMPs in his last 5. He's played 87% of the last 15, so probably 59 average.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good scorer. And like you just said, for 0.00, and so $30, he has no sales.
He just went for 0.005 a minute ago. That
because you couldn't get in there.
Yeah, right.
To drive up that price. And like, I don't know, it's just really interesting. I think limited is kind of fun to do, like what you just said, speculating, because I do think if you get a player cheap enough, right, you get a 0.002, like you were just saying, and the guy does become something. Now, could you turn that around and sell it for 0.001? I think. No,
right.
0.01, that's what I mean. 0.01.
So
could you do that? I think you could.
This is kind of what, so Anthony Fontana.
Oh boy.
0.001 right now. He's about to, like, he's about to end.
And he'll be back in a couple hours. Don't feel too bad.
Right. And I'll probably put a bid on him at 0.001 because like he's 21. He plays for Philly.
And you loved him before the season. You were going to drop hundreds of dollars on him before the season.
I almost paid 0.1 for him anyway at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a guy I would buy, because like he could pop off, and then like maybe once his runs are done, maybe that's when he starts to get time again, and all of a sudden I can sell him for 0.01 and I've 10x'd him. But like I have a guy like that who I can just kind of turn around and use.
So I think you bring up a really interesting point there, and maybe we'll kind of get close to ending on this, is again, small budget. That's what so much of the show is about, right? Is, real world, we don't have, it's not like, oh, I made some mistakes, let me go drop in 10 ETH and spend my way out of the mistake. Like that is not going to happen in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So speculating on a player, like speculating on Anthony Fontana rare, I don't even know what his rare is at, but I'm going to guess his rare is like 0.02, 0.03.
I don't have him up anymore.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. My bad.
No, I'll look it up. He is going 0.04.
Oh, wow.
His 3-day average is 5.3 actually.
Okay. So he's decently high for a guy that you have a 0. There is no faith in starting him.
And the last time he played was game week 176. So that's like half a year ago.
Okay. So he's a buy. If you buy a rare, he's sitting in your gallery. And at 0.05, let's just call it 0.05. That's if we went to fiat, that's $150. You and I do not have, and I have a few albatrosses that I hate. And you had albatrosses too. And them sitting in my gallery, providing no utility, their value just sucking, and me knowing that I can't sell them or, for anywhere close to where I bought them. That's not like the greatest use of limited gallery space, right?
Right.
So me or you going and buying Anthony Fontana rare is not a good idea right now. We could buy potentially 2 starters for a global all-star. We just did that in the last episode. We just bought a team that, and speaking of that, we need to update.
Yeah, we got to see how that's doing.
That hit 0.02 threshold. It didn't do good this last week in like some DMPs, but the first weekend it hit 0.02. So the point I was making is I can't speculate on rares right now, like that type of guy. But like you just said, for a limited 0.001, $3, $6. Okay, now you can do speculating. So maybe that's a fun aspect too, is not only the playing side, but now that opens up more speculating, more, as Sorare says it, more deep scouting.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said, not a ton, but something to be said for being able to play some of these guys, and then you're checking, their scores on a bi-weekly basis and kind of getting a better, more up close understanding of what their average scores and what their standard deviations are and how that would affect the team if you had the rare. Like if you see it and you're paying attention to it, I think it's a little different than like I pull up Caden Clark's game by game and see, his dot chart, and I'm like, all right, that seems doable. But like if you're actually playing him somewhere and he puts up a 40 one week and you're like, and then he puts up a 70 next week and you're like, all right, cool. Stuff like that. I think that makes you a little more comfortable on whether or not you want to actually spend up for his rare when the time comes or whatever.
Right. If
maybe not
you're
his.
more vested, you've put his player notifications on your SoFa score.
Yes.
Starting, you have an extra. No, I just think it's interesting that, and I didn't even think about this going into this episode, but that does maybe open up the so-called scouting network, which I think Sorare really does want to have happen. Like they always say, happy scouting and all this stuff. And, if all of a sudden you find a diamond in the rough for, $3 and you can flip him, he eventually becomes something. I still remember, oh God, I'm blanking on his name. Who's the Kikuchi, the crazy defender for Kobe in J League? Rita Kikuchi. He sells for like 0.4.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's like big. He wins every duel. He scores every once in a while. But I remember Black on the road where I was saying that was a former tier 3 reward for him. Like he won him when he was a nothing. So maybe this is kind of a cool way that, can you find your Kikuchi? Could Anthony Fontana, Alex, be your Kikuchi that you buy for $3? So you buy for practically nothing. And a year or two from now, when hopefully Sorare's millions of users and 1,000 mints is actually very limited. It doesn't feel limited right now, but it is limited. And that could be a 0.05 card for you. That's a cool thought. 50x.
Yes. Yeah, I dig it. I think that's what I'll end up doing is, buying 20 limited cards for 0.03 to 4, something like that, and then just sitting on them and having fun with them. So I don't think it's something where I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to make a fortune on these, but it's that scouting and stuff like that. And also, like, I could afford to get more experience with roster construction and lineup building and stuff like that, and figure out what works. So that's another aspect for it. Again, it's for the common player, and it's for the folks who want to get in but not at high price points. So
not having to drop $1,000 on a starting goalkeeper.
Now seems like the time to sign up though, because these prices are low and you can have fun with it. So I'm gonna start being annoying and texting all my friends to
So on
use
that note,
the referral code.
There's a referral code in our details. Alex, we got our first one, by the way. So thank you to the user that signed up. We got a guy that we're going to sit on for a long time because he is in Shakhtar and we only get scoring during the Champions League stuff.
I think we might have another one coming for what it's worth.
Oh, look at that. So just so you know, for those out there, if we're invested in the player evenly. Whenever it comes time that we're selling or one of us wants to buy, we're just splitting it in half, and somebody wants it, the other one's just giving them whatever the value is, half of it. So it's going to both. You're not choosing one or the other. So, use that code, you sign up, you get when you buy 5, hold on, let me make sure I'm doing it right. 5 limited cards in auction, you get 1 limited card for free. So it'll be fun.
And get out there scouting. So easy to do now.
Yeah. So now that I've spent Alex's money, we're going to get out of here. So I guess I'm just to final recap. So I think by next episode, we'll probably have a D5 limited team that I'm playing, more looking at the playing. And I'm expecting to see a lot of 17-year-old K-League, J-League, MLS guys in Alex's gallery that he'll never play for the bit of time, but he's enjoying the scouting aspect. So I think that's the cool part, right? You can play, or you can just do the scouting. You kind of a mixture of the worlds, huh?
Yes, I think I
can already see your face. I've lost him. He's into the limited auction world.
Well, I just thought of a guy that I want to buy in limited, and they haven't released one yet. So
hit the following.
Oh, I'm already following him. You know who it is, right?
No, I don't.
Eddie Salcedo.
That's a great. Hey, you made profit on that just before you're. So just the last little bit, and then we'll get out of here. We ran over. We're always gonna run over, by the way, Alex. I've realized that. But I just still remember that I was on like a red light as you're telling me like he started. I can sell him for a profit. I'm like, and I like quickly Google and I'm like, Alex, he's literally like going to Serie B, like as we speak, and you have an offer. You're like, are you sure? I'm like, dude. Like if you lose him to Serie B, you're gonna lose so much money, and you turn a little profit, right?
I did.
And he's in Serie B, right? As they
Let's
brought in
see.
Dzeko and all these other people. Yeah.
It looks like he might be going back to Genoa.
Oh, okay, that wouldn't be bad. At least you get scoring there.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of Sorare. It would be cool, like someday when every league is covered and you don't have to worry about losing guys to places where their card becomes worthless.
Right.
Cool. Let's get out of here. Hey,
Yeah,
have a great day.
thanks for selling me on this, because now this is what I'm gonna be doing all
I
day.
apologize, but I'm looking forward to the next update when you have a limited gallery. All right, guys. See you.